Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Empowered, presented by Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation. I'm Rebecca Durant-Tyne, an actor, model, teacher, cancer survivor, and now your host for this evening. As always, I'd love to encourage you to participate in tonight's show by posting any comments or questions you might have. And if any questions do come in during the show, we'll save them for the end. I'm so honored tonight to welcome our empowered guest, Deepak Manchanda. Deepak is a spiritual speaker, coach, and philosopher who shares insights into the primal creative energy inherent in each of us, which in turn creates the individual reality in which we choose to live. Deepak encourages his audiences to focus and meditate on primordial sounds to ignite control and manage the energies within. This, he says, enables one to traverse the 7 thresholds of human consciousness and enjoy success, happiness, and peace. He shares his knowledge of Shiv Shakti, spirituality, mindfulness, and consciousness through YouTube videos, group sessions, social media, seminars, presentations, and TV interviews. He's currently releasing a video series called Enlightenment, a story of evolution of consciousness. Welcome, Deepak, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. Why don't we start with a little bit of background info and what led, I'm sure this is a big question, but what led you to your current spiritual path?
Rebecca, I feel like we all are spiritual beings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a time when you start walking on that. But deep down, we all are spiritual beings
Yes.
So that's the concept which I had from the very early childhood. Maybe because of the philosophies, the Indian culture, and the values. This is basically in our religion. In fact, like this is the first word you understand that, okay, we all are spirits with a body and a mind. In Sanskrit, it is called as Sanatan. Even the religion, Hindu religion, is also sometimes addressed as a Sanatan religion, means the religion of a spirit, like how spirit believes that what is this life all about. So I was inclined always towards the spirituality because of the values, or my parents were also, my father especially was very much involved into spirituality. So that was there. But fortunately, we had a summer home which was in a temple. And I'm basically from Kashmir, which is very much, the climate is very much like Canada. So it was not a very big change for me to India because I come from the northern part.
Right.
But our summer home used to be in a temple. And that temple is called as Das Nami Akhada. People who are not much aware about these things, so probably it will be a good learning for them. So it's called as Das Nami, means 10th temple of Lord Shiva, which was started by a saint or sage called as Shankaracharya. So in this particular temple, like there are only 14 in India. So 10th is the one where I had the opportunity to spend my summer vacations for about 18 or 19 years.
Wow.
And I got involved with the sages. You might have seen some of the very different kind of sages when people take pictures from India, especially when they visit for a spiritual trip. And I had this opportunity of being with them for at least 2 months in a year for 15, 16 years consistently. And that basically gave me that knowledge, which on an average, a teenager will not have. Like I had the knowledge as a teenager. I was going into the regular school and I had that knowledge. I was progressively growing as any teenager will. But on the side, I had this knowledge, which I was so young, I could not express it, that, or never felt even that if I have this knowledge, I'm like, it is something special or different, or even like, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
So that became basically the pillar. And then eventually I went for my computer engineering. I'm a full-time computer engineer and I'm into software development. But as I will say, as anybody go through the spiritual experience once in a lifetime, and I also went through, which had nothing to do with my background. I don't give that as a prerequisite to go through it. I think awakening or spiritual consciousness, this word is global. It is beyond any boundaries. It is beyond any race, color, religion, or country.
Absolutely.
Anybody, because we are a spirit, and it is our
Mhm.
right actually to evolve and know ourselves one day.
Yeah.
And it is a natural way. So
Yes.
you don't go to a conventional way of understanding yourself or the life on the earth. You understand on your own.
Mhm.
And so when I went through that phase in my life, when I was evolving myself, my 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 upbringing definitely played an important role during that time,
Yeah.
because when you have one set of learning and you have to unlearn that and learn something different, that's a
Mm.
very difficult
Oh
phase.
yeah.
And this process, this spiritual settlement, goes for 6 7 years. It's not like
Mhm.
you are spiritually awakened and tomorrow you
That's
know
it.
it.
Yeah.
Very slow process. You go through, like, your body goes through
Oh
changes,
yeah.
your mind goes through changes, and you
Mm.
actually feel like everything. People many a time say that spirituality cannot be defined, but they're wrong. Because spirituality, when you're having the experience, you're having physical experiences also.
Mhm.
And people who are watching this program and had any time a spiritual experience, they know it what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. It is not something which is like a myth or a, it's a
Right. You
reality.
feel it. Yeah.
This is who we are.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, it was always there. The only thing is
Wonderful.
that, as anybody else, at one particular time, you get aware about it. You get
Yes.
awakened, and as soon as you open the eyes, then you know it. There is no other path.
That's right.
There's no other.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel for me that the moment was being diagnosed with cancer, and I had no idea that that's what it was going to lead to, but I really do feel as though there was, something bigger out there that knew I needed to make these changes or become this person, and I needed a push to do it. So yeah, absolutely. And you're so right that it is, we are spiritual beings, and it's doesn't matter background, race, religion. It's universal. Yeah, absolutely. So why were you so you're creating right now, or releasing right now, a video series called Enlightenment. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what sort of motivated you to create this video series?
Definitely. Um, Look, when I went through this journey, um, it was like, I'm a computer engineer. If something is
Hmm.
happening and I'm medically conscious, so I went to my doctor,
Right.
and I did not get the answers which I was looking for. Actually, was more like medical terms. Okay, you may be
Yeah.
going through depression. I know it's a byproduct. When you are awakened, you have to go through the depression. You have to go through the anxiety, because you are
Changes.
learning and unlearning those
That's
things which
right.
are emotionally challenging you.
Hmm.
But I could understand that we are living in the world which has certain parameters, which has certain standards, which has certain remedies already available, and breaking that convention is very, very difficult.
Yes.
So I went
Yes.
through in a conventional way of evolving myself through what I learned, as I told you, because I was
Hmm.
aware of what I'm going
Right.
through.
Hmm.
So it made my life very easy. I knew which door to knock for this particular thing.
That's good.
So I went through, like, it was not very easy for me also.
Mm.
So I will say that I had less challenges than somebody else who
Yes.
probably was not aware of, and anybody and everybody, everything they have to figure out from the scratch, and
That's
then
right.
build up a perception that, okay, I am going through this. So
Yes.
that was little different.
That is right. Absolutely. So is that then what motivated you to create Enlightenment, to sort of those people who are starting from scratch, to help them?
So, Rebecca, I found that if you really, and I'm not saying you can validate this, that for the ancient time, as many as years, thousands of years, people have traveled from all over the world to India for
Hmm.
spiritual. Whenever it comes to the spiritual thing,
Yes.
people don't go to India for gambling. There is no Las Vegas. People
No.
do not go to India for Disneyland. There is no
Yeah.
Disneyland. There is something different which is not available anywhere in the world. I am not
Mm-hmm.
saying that uh, you know uh, this world is not spiritual or that world is
Right.
spiritual. I think so. Each place or each awareness or collective consciousness in that geographical area was blessed with some knowledge, and maybe
Mm.
Indians were blessed in a way that they
Yeah.
understood the God in a very different way.
Different
Like
way.
even today, if you see, when you go there, it does not gel with any Abrahamic or monolithical religion. Like
Yeah.
the rituals, it's very different.
Yes.
For anybody, it's something amazing. Now, when people travel from here, I realize that since awakening does not discriminate the financial status,
Mm,
what about those people who can't travel to India?
right.
Not everybody is like Richard Gere or
Yeah.
Steven Seagal
Right.
or somebody Steve Jobs who could just travel there and spend 5 or 6 months. Who have the money?
Right. Yeah.
Like, we are
So
living in a
true.
world where we have to work every day. I thought like it will be easier since I understand the culture. I'm a true Canadian. I understand that being an Indo-Canadian, where my how I could transform this Eastern philosophies and blend it with the Western philosophies so that it becomes
Mhm.
easier for people to understand. And
Yes.
it does not stay as a taboo. It does not stay as a
Right.
Indian culture. It's a spiritual way. It's one of the way, like Mayans had a way to
Yes.
understand God. Egyptian had a way to understand God. Here we are, Indians, we also have a way to understand the God. And when I say God, it does not mean a physical entity. It's
Yes.
an entity which is not an entity
That's right.
yet holds all entities. It's that kind of a. So I you can name it anything, but
Yeah.
point
I
is,
yeah.
so
I just call it the universe,
that is
universal
the.
energy. Yeah.
So you call it by any name which is beyond you. Idea
Mhm.
is that I will say, like, to have some kind of fear, to have some kind of binding, to have some kind of love with something which is beyond you,
Yes.
just
Yes.
beyond you, because that keeps you intact morally, ethically, socially. It just keeps
Grounded.
you intact because it
Hmm.
keeps you grounded.
That's right.
So the whole idea was to say something in simple words because my daughter was born here. So just see, I'm positive the kind of upbringing I had, she's not going to have. But
Right.
then how she will connect with this knowledge?
Yes.
So I started creating the videos. My first video was for her. It was Bhagavad Gita, and I created when she was 13 years old. My whole idea was that I am just creating this short video for my daughter to understand about our culture or what is the
Right.
because many a times I have seen Indian kids being confused that if Christians have Bible or Jews
Right.
have Torah or Muslims have Quran, what is the book actual one book for Hindus?
True.
And even those smaller questions are not being taught to us in a way as it is taught in other world. We
Mm.
live the life rather than we are being dictated to live the life.
Right.
So it was a little different. So anyway,
Yes.
and this whole experiment of transforming this knowledge, this ancient civilizations understanding in this world, it makes me very happy. So rather than doing for something somebody else, I
Yes.
think I'm doing it for myself. At least I self appreciate myself that if I'm gone, it will be my story, that what did I
Right.
bring into the world. So
Right.
at least I can say that I created a small video which was Bhagavad Gita, my own effort, and today it has reached to more than 33 million people.
That's
So
amazing.
maybe it will grow, it will
Right.
progressively grow, and I will stay in people's awareness even when I'm gone.
Gone. Yes, absolutely. So we've been talking about sort of what enlightenment is about, and you've described it as your next endeavor to share the absolute knowledge. And can you just discuss a bit what you mean by absolute knowledge? Is it sort of this understanding of God or universal energy, whatever you want to call it? Is it something more than
No,
that?
no. Absolute knowledge is which cannot be challenged.
Mm.
If I say death is inevitable, it
Yes.
cannot be challenged. That's absolute knowledge.
Mm.
We come empty handed, we leave empty handed. That's
Yes.
absolute knowledge.
Yes.
Nothing, not even one breath is in our hand. That's absolute
It's
knowledge.
true.
And when people start understanding this absolute knowledge, they come out of any fear. They become
Mm.
fearless. They know it is not in our hand. We come empty handed, leave empty handed.
Empty-handed.
Some goes before, some goes after. They become fearless. And that's what makes you fearless, or it has made me fearless the moment I enjoyed understanding. You see, we learn things, we perceive things. But then a time comes in our life, we start wearing those things as our
Yes.
character, and once you start doing that, then you become like that, you smell like that, you are who
That.
you are then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting. So Enlightenment is made up of 6 chapters, and they each have a different title: Deep Sleep, Awakening, Struggle, Self-Realization, Discoveries, and then Salvation. Why did you title the chapters the way that you did?
I did not. It is the conventional way our life lives. We all
Mm,
are in the deep sleep for a very long time until we
yes.
are being pushed, until we are hit by something which we do not know how to handle. And
Hmm.
then necessity becomes the invention and something comes out of you only.
Absolutely.
And that is called as awakening. That's a second stage, that
Hmm.
you were in deep sleep and one day you were hit by something, and that awakens you, like just shakes
Absolutely.
you up and brings your spiritual self outside.
Yes.
So that's a second stage. But then, as I told you, that since if you ask me, until I was experienced what I have experienced, who you are. So my name is Deepak Manchanda. That's who I am. I have parents. I have, but as soon as I just shift my consciousness and awareness towards the spiritual self, then I call like I'm a spirit with a body and a mind. I'm
Mm,
here for a small time. I'm here for some purpose and reason which may not be known to me, but unconsciously I am doing every day that.
right.
And when my purpose will be over, I'll be gone. That's it. So it's so simple.
Hmm.
So I will never be fear of, I'll not be scared. I'll have no fear. I'll keep on going until my last breath. And I'll keep on motivating. I will not take stress, anxiety, happiness or failure as something which will challenge me. It will
Hmm.
be just part of my life. As I'm breathing,
Right.
I will enjoy my success also. As
Right.
I'm breathing, I will enjoy my failures also.
Right.
So
So it's sort of believing that things are happening as they're supposed to in the way that they're supposed to, and not, because we have a lot of stress these days and a lot of anxieties about the future and what's going to happen, and and so it's almost like a letting go, or like a relaxing into, yeah, into your life. That's lovely. It's almost like those are the steps to get from being asleep to, yeah, being awakened. Yeah,
So once
absolutely.
you are awakened, then you are being challenged.
Right.
Challenged by yourself. Nobody is
Right.
challenging you.
Right.
Now you are challenging yourself. No, that is not the right way. This is the right way. So
Right.
every day you are emerging with this evolving concept, which is
Hmm.
making you a better person.
Yes.
Basically, it is nothing but evolution of your own consciousness to make you a better person. It's
Absolutely.
you are coming from a larva stage to a butterfly, coming to a very beautiful thing. But this is a struggle, and if you're
It
not
is.
aware of, you could have depression, you could have anxiety,
Hmm.
you could go through serious mental diseases. Your back, shoulders, neck can hurt a lot.
Hmm.
So this all is the byproduct which comes along with this spiritual path.
Right.
And if you are not aware of what you need to do, then you will end up in the conventional Western way of medication,
Right.
which I don't think so is the right way. It's a
Hmm.
natural. It's same as, to tell you honestly, like um, a, a, a mother giving birth in a natural way and a cesarean,
Oh,
same thing.
very. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go through this kind of remedies, you actually don't enjoy the path.
Hmm. Yes, that's
You are
right.
making yourself a little bit comfortable, but that comfort is not going to bring you the results.
Same benefits. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and it is, just speaking from my own experience, it is a struggle because you are like, for me, a big part of that was like learning how to think about and talk to myself differently in like a more positive way, because I had a history of just being very difficult, very hard on myself. And it's hard, it's a struggle, because you're, for so long you have one way of doing things and being in the world and showing up in your life, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, okay, well, maybe I should be going, this way, or doing something different instead. And it is, because there's still that part of you that's like, oh no, this is safe over here, we know this, let's stay here. And then there's the part that's being pulled to evolve. So it's a struggle.
So the next step is, when you go through this struggle, it just churn you every day. Like it just
Yes.
churns you as much as that. It just takes the last negative thought out of you.
Yes.
To that extent, it just takes those needles out from your life
Hmm.
slowly, gradually, and one day you become enlightened. And once you become enlightened, because awakening is just the beginning, awakening is just
Yeah,
you're coming out of a state, but the whole purpose is to get enlightened. Once you get enlightened, then you will have your own discoveries.
that's
Then you
right.
will discover something.
Yes.
And but until you are enlightened, you cannot discover. You may be awakened, but awakened doesn't give you a possibility or ability or even capability to give your discovery or invention to the world.
That's right.
So you need to wait until you reach to that stage, and now you know it, that everything is being settled. Your physical, mental, emotions are being settled. Your hormones are being settled. You are chemically now balanced.
Yeah.
All things happen during that time. And
Hmm.
once you are settled, then you start thinking that this journey, what did you get out of this journey? You
Yeah.
gave 7 years to this. You lost almost everything. Many people lose their jobs during this
Mhm.
time. Many people go through very difficult times,
Yeah.
even in the social and family, because you are behaving differently. Your
That's right.
ideas are different. You are thought provoking by just
Yeah.
being there. You just gain attention by saying something
That's
which
right.
is. So after that, once you achieve that stage, then you discover. Then Lord provide you, the universe provides you what you are best in, and that's your discovery. Nobody
Yes.
can take it from you, nobody can steal it from you, because these are your ideas which are coming. You do not have even one common thing with the other person,
Right.
even if you're thinking the same thing. Like, let's say I got inclined towards technology or robotics, and somebody
Right.
else is also getting into robotics.
Right.
Believe me or not, both people will come with a different invention, and it has happened in the past. It's not that it is happening for now. Since this since the first cell was being created by a universe, there was conscious in that cell
Mm.
to evolve
Right.
into a
To
full
grow.
species. And
Hmm.
not only just evolve, but that awareness or conscious was also making that cell cell capable for its survival, not just physically growing, but
Right.
mentally taking those actions, decisions which could sustain that life until it is possible.
Right.
So yeah.
This is so interesting for me because it's sort of giving me like giving structure to this experience that I have had over the last 3 years, as much structure as you can give
Yeah.
to something like this.
My
It's giving
story
like
cannot
words
be
to it.
different than yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
My story cannot be different than
Yeah.
yours. If I go for swimming in the lake, how my experience is going to different than yours?
Right.
If I ate something and you ate the same thing, or you
Yeah.
had the same drink, how your taste buds are going to be different than mine? If
That's
our
right.
physical body, if I have 206 to 210 bones, and that's what you have.
Yeah.
I have 11 systems: respiratory, circulatory, digestive, all are same. And
Hmm.
if everything is same, why my spiritual experience will be different than yours? It
That's
will
a real.
not be. The only
Yes.
thing is the result of the spiritual experience will be
It'll
different.
be
It is
different.
it is basically depending upon your hard work, your dedication, because everybody knows something, but then somebody puts more effort into this,
Right.
and deep, dive deep into this, maybe unintentionally. I will not take any credit for anything what I have done. I can tell you that I cannot. I am nowhere in that position to take the credit. If I have created something, or if I have written something, I that words have come from the universe. If you say
Right.
universe, I will say God, or
Yeah.
whatever. But it has come from somebody. Those words, even I sometimes hear words which I am saying for the first time in my life,
Yes.
and that happens so often and frequent. And then
Hmm.
I keep on writing
That's
because that is
yeah.
also a surprise to me. That how did I speak that? But
Right.
I know what it is. I know what is the source. We are living in infinite pool of awareness.
Mm,
It's just how much unconscious we could convert it into our conscious and become
absolutely.
wiser and wiser and wiser. That's what it is. So once you discover, then the last step is your salvation. So once you have discovered that, okay, God, I found it, this was my purpose and
Yep.
meaning, so I have handed over. Now what is there
What
for
do
me?
I do? Yeah.
So you become solved. That is your salvation,
Mm,
where whatever work was being given to you as God's work or universe work, you contributed, and now you have become liberated from that. Now you
perfect.
have liberated from your debt. The
Right.
debt was to give the message, and if you have given the message, it's been done. So your role has
Wonderful.
been done.
Right.
So that's how I
Wonderful.
feel.
Yes, and I would agree absolutely that yeah, we all have a purpose or a reason. We have gifts to share. We have something to share, and it's yeah that process of finding what that is and how we can share that. Now you're just talking about. It was really interesting. The you're kind of you're saying you're hearing words for the first time or you're writing and you wonder like, oh, where did that come from? And for me, I feel like it's like a tapping into that, what I call, universal energy, or if it's God or whatever. So, and I know that you say that we can tap into primordial energy to achieve success and happiness and peace and all of these things. So we were already talking about it a bit, but can you explain, what that primordial energy is, and then how can people start tapping into it?
So let's go, like, in a simple words, we
Mm-hmm.
need to understand there is no perpetual machine in this world.
Yes.
Perpetual, when I use the word perpetual, it means to to do something, we need energy. There is nothing in this world which goes on without giving any input,
Yeah.
without giving any energy. So as I said that when the universe created the first cell, it put that energy into that cell also, and is in the mitochondria. That's what where this
Yes.
energy is. Now we have millions of cells, and each of our cell has that energy to grow. Collectively, if I tell you the energy what we have, which stays in our each cell, but from where that cell gets the energy, that main transformer is in our buttocks, and there is a tube. In Sanskrit, we call it as a kundalini. It's a coiled
Yes.
energy which is in our buttocks, and that stores basically the energy which is required for our day-to-day activities, which is required to take our decisions. So, with the sunlight, water, food, we keep on restoring that energy. And when we get exhausted, or means like that nourishment what we have taken to produce the energy fails, we sleep. And in an automatic way, while we are sleeping, our body act as a it charger, and it just
Right.
takes the energy and then fill that tube for the next day, and then we work again for 8-10 hours, and again we lose, and again we sleep. This is how this
Recharge.
energy works. 90% of our problems in the world are being taken care by in this routine only. Our energy, whatever flow this energy is having naturally, it actually gives us that much wisdom, consciousness, awareness, that we can take care of our problem. But 10% of our problems are not being taken care by this natural flow, unless and until we push them to rise to a level. So,
Yes.
so the energy which God has given in that cell, or universe has given, which we have not created, which is natural, that's why it is called as primordial energy.
Yes. Makes
The
sense.
primordial means we have not
Yes.
created, it is already
Right. It's
there.
already there.
The same way, the primordial energy which we have is a kundalini, which is like a collective energy,
Right.
and it is in the tube, and it just gets released when we are using it, and again it has to be filled and recharged. So that's how it happens. But as I told you, when the 10% problem comes, 10% means a bad experience,
Right.
bad relationship, sickness, death in the family,
Yeah, the big ones.
unemployment, loss,
Mm-hmm.
natural disaster. Then our body and the energy and the whatever we are having, that does not have that capability to resist it. And here we need to rise our energy, and that we do through our breathing,
Yes.
alternate breathing. So if you know pranayam, if you know
Yes.
the alternate breathing, you actually, this works as fishing rod. So you have a reel,
Ah.
you through the line, and then through the breath you start, swirling it
Reeling it
up,
in.
and the fish comes up. Yes. So this is how the energy comes up. Simple way. So it is
Yes.
through the breath. Our energy is actually hydro. It's hydrogen, and our breath is oxygen. So when
Right.
it combusts together, that's where the explosion happen and we get
The
awakened.
energy. Wow, interesting. And so how can reeling in, as you said, this energy, how can it, I guess, improve someone's life, whether that's their physical health and healing, or any other area?
In a normal person, in anybody walking on the road, if I say you are going to die tomorrow,
Mm.
how will he react? And a person who's suffering through a disease like cancer, and you say you will die tomorrow, how will that person take?
It would be
The
different, I
normal person
imagine.
who does not is not going through
No,
the fact. But
no.
this person who's going through that, is already awakened. His energy level
Yes.
has risen
Different.
because he's not living in a regular things now. He has a
No.
bigger challenge.
Yes.
So he's already awakened.
Hmm.
As soon as Lord gives the problem, Lord will always gives us the problem that our shoulders will not break.
Right.
So he will have some remedy. He knows it how much to give us. So that's how it works. So with energy, you become capable, you become fearless. You know it that that life is not in my hand. Death is inevitable. I
Yes.
came empty hand and leave empty hand. This is not in my hand. Somebody has created me for a reason, and somebody has will take me for his own reason. Once you have this, this is called as higher consciousness.
Yes.
Everybody knows about it, but nobody believes it. The moment you believe it, that's where the power comes. Then there is
Yes.
no fear. No fear.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't have any fear.
And I think for me it comes back to that like mind body connection, and we know that the thoughts we think and the things we feel affect us on a physical level, just how when we are fearful or anxious, we have a very physical reaction to that. And yeah, just as you said, when you can, it's true, when I stopped having, and I mean, I still have days where I have fear, that's for sure, but I started having less fear and more, positivity, joy, certainty, I guess, was, yeah, when I felt like, when I started like connecting to that universal energy or God or whatever, and feeling started feeling like there had to be bigger reasons or bigger purposes for me and my life, and even for why I got cancer when I did. And I think that must have affected me on a physical level just as much as it did mentally and emotionally too, because there's, yeah, just a very clear, strong connection between our mind and our body. Yeah, absolutely. So many of our viewers, of course, are uh, cancer patients, and cancer patients face, it's one of the most life changing and, experiences, and it's something that many people fear even if they've never gone through it themselves. It's just, cancer is such a big scary word. It's one of the biggest setbacks really that we can experience. So you like to compare life and its inherent setbacks to a game of snakes and ladders. Can you explain that comparison a little bit?
Sure. Look, um, first of all, whose pain is bigger, the one who's suffering cancer or the ones who are around?
Hmm. You
And
know
once
what?
you
Yeah.
understand, then your pain will become very smaller. The
Mm-hmm.
moment you just take this focus from yourself to the person next to you and what they are going through, you will not be worried about even your problems. It will become very smaller.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we are. That's who we are. And especially with the people who are awakened, they are like me. They will say the same word what I'm saying. Like my words cannot be different than yours, as I said. Because that's what we bring to the world now.
That's right.
We are not the similar same people, what we learned throughout the life. We have understood. We have seen death so close that we have no
Mm-hmm.
meaning even for life now.
Right. Yes, absolutely. New perspective.
We just
Absolutely.
want to make every second, every instance what we have just enjoyable, just
Yes.
shareable.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that. And so, how exactly, in your opinion, is life like snakes and ladders?
Sorry, say again, Rebecca.
Because you compare life to snakes and ladders, that game, and so how is life like snakes and ladders and its setbacks?
Okay. I believe that by the age of 10 you already have one bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By the age of 20 you have a bad relationship.
Oh yeah.
By the age of 30 you lose even a parent.
Mm-hmm.
40 maybe, but you lose someone closer to you. By 40 you have changed at least twice your career.
Yeah.
By 50 you at least hit a medical disease.
Mm,
Very common.
yeah. Very
So this
common.
is a common life for all of us. There are only 10, 12 things in this whole world which each one of us goes through. Exactly like a game of snakes and ladder. We go
Yeah.
few, and then
And it can,
some snake will bite us. We'll come down. Then again, regain our energy. Again, start walking. Again, fell down until we reach to the end
to
and
the
just
end.
clear this life. That's
Mm,
how it is. Now, cancer being such a disease, because it is life threatening. As soon as somebody gets the cancer, the first thing comes like, I'm going to die.
I'm done. Yeah.
But there are survivors. There are success stories who have fought this gracefully
Hmm.
and came out. Navneet is there, I have seen. And
Oh, yes.
so there are plenty. I
Yeah.
know you may be roaming around, you may be seeing them every day around you who have made a change.
Yes.
So I will say that yes, cancer is life threatening and losing life is the biggest fear, and it is very
Mm.
natural.
Yeah.
Yet, if you have awareness that this life is not our life, this will go like this.
Hmm.
You will not be worried about it.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
think, it's a bigger disease you have to fight it. Yes, there is possibility, but God has never done bad. What he has done in the past was absolutely fine. What is happening with us right now is absolutely fine.
Fine.
So the future will also be fine.
It'll also be fine. Yeah, absolutely. And so then, how is, I guess, that awareness, is that how people can best bounce back from those setbacks?
Yeah. So awakening gives you the awareness.
Right.
Look, problem to every, like solution to every problem is knowledge. And through awakening, you actually get the knowledge to take care of your problem, whether it is financially, medically, or even with your mind.
Right.
That's what you get. So knowledge becomes the source of resolving your issues, resolving your problem, whether it is unemployment, relationship, or even cancer.
Right. Right. And so for someone, I'm just thinking, for someone who this is a completely foreign concept to, and they haven't experienced any kind, like any even, inklings about awakening, where do they start?
Focusing on their breath.
Mm.
Because the only difference between a live and a dead person is the breath. That's the first thing which we check.
Yes.
So who we are we spirit or the breath? So the
Mm.
moment you ask this one question, the whole philosophy changed. Who the hell I am? Am I breath or spirit
Or spirit.
or a breath?
Wow.
So the moment you focus on the breath, it just takes you into your subconscious mind. Breathing, oxygen, air, that is what we need to do
Yes.
anything. Even coming from a roller coaster, what do you need there? Just breath. When you're stuck somewhere, what do you need? Breath. So once you know how to breathe in fear, in a situation like this, you become somebody very, very different, because you have understanding from a different perception. It's a
Right.
different perception about yourself, that I'm breath. It's a
Yes.
different perception that I am a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And it is
Yeah.
a different perception
It is.
altogether that you are Rebecca and I'm Deepak.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so interesting for me to hear you say that, because and I, until now, I didn't know how this connection happened, but for me, when this process started for me, it was when I started meditating. And I didn't know, and I started meditating simply to help deal with the stress and the anxiety of going through cancer. I had no idea that it was going to lead to this spiritual path, because that had never been part of my life before. Like, I wasn't even really religious growing up or anything. And so it's so interesting, because meditation, of course, is all about your breath. So it's bringing a little bit of, I guess, clarity for me to that, to how that happened, because I mean, it's hard to put into words.
I'll ask you one thing, Rebecca.
Yes.
Imagine you are the only one in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Only one.
Yeah.
Do you think that God has not given the wisdom to understand him, or the universe has not given, if somebody never teaches you even?
Right.
That's how he has made. The connection is that he's connected to all of us. We all know about him. Even if we are the last person, there is nobody around us. We will go through this awakening. We'll understand everything on our own. That's
Yes.
how we have been made.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because when I think about it, like, no one taught me, it was just sort of the experience that I had, and I was trying to make sense of it as I went through it. So
And one day
yeah.
you transform into a sage.
Yeah.
The way you speak now, the way you may be communicating right now to your
Mhm.
peers or the social circle, they know it, that you're a different person.
I am.
You're a
Yeah.
God's person. Even your face will tell that. You don't have to tell even somebody.
Yes.
Even if you stand, you will look different.
It's so
I'm
interesting. Yeah,
telling you that.
because
And if
I
people
feel
challenge
totally
me,
different.
then bring it on. I'm here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know nothing about except for this thing.
Yes, and it's so funny because people do. They tell me all the time that I seem like a different, in a good way, that I seem like a different person. That I look different, sound different. Absolutely. So that's been my experience for sure. Um, so I mean, we've been talking about it the whole time, but the our challenge. It seems like from our discussion, the challenges in our life help lead us to our purpose and what it should be. So
No,
in
no,
what
no,
ways
no.
does it?
I will
Yeah.
correct out here. No. Challenges gives us the isolation.
Mm,
In isolation, we find ourselves. Once
yes.
we find ourselves, then we know our purpose and meaning. It's not that way. The way it is actually in a sequential order.
Ah,
So
interesting.
any time if you have lost a job, there'll be no social circle. If
Right.
you're sick, you'll be having no people around. If you're in ICU or in the hospital, nobody is around you. So
Right.
you're with yourself.
Yes.
When you are alone, you are actually with
Yes.
yourself.
Wow.
And then you understand yourself very nicely
Yes.
and
Wow.
slowly and then on your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And once
Mm-hmm.
you learn on your pace without any restriction or bindings, then you explore. Then you blossom like a flower. Your
Right.
mind opens up like because there is no compulsion. It is opening up it on its own.
On its
It's
own.
taking you towards a solution. And each time you meditate, the result of that will be different than the previous one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
the knowledge which you gain, the words which you get, the experience which you get is different than the past one.
That's right.
And then it becomes so difficult for you to even write it down because it is so difficult to express these things. Maybe these were made in such a way that these are secret. You're not supposed to tell. That's the reason you
Right.
forget even the next day. If somebody tells you
Mm,
the experience which is so vivid, which you have experienced for half an hour, 45 minutes, but you can't write after 3 days or 4 days. It's so
right.
secretive. It,
Mm,
it's just a natural way. These experiences are very secret.
that's so interesting.
Don't
Because
you want to tell somebody, you will not be able to define it.
no, that's
No.
right. And it is, and it's funny because I had people around me, but I feel as though, and I'm sure it's true for all challenges and all obstacles that we face, that no one can quite understand what it's like for you to be going through that challenge. Like they can sympathize and you can explain, but it's not quite the same as going through that yourself.
But it,
So in
but a
that way you are
person
sort of
like
on your
you,
own.
but Rebecca, when you are talking to a person like you, it
Hmm.
is quite understandable by that person. I'm
Yes.
telling you,
Yeah.
because your pain can understand only that person who has been through that pain.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
And it is
that,
like, for me, it was, I was lucky that I did have all of these people, but it is still like you still feel somewhat isolated, as you said, because it does those, even if you're not physically isolated, it's almost like being isolated within yourself,
have
there's
you not
a
started
space.
enjoying yourself?
Yes.
So that's what you have to do. Look, I have two dogs, very small one, but this is how I have kept even during the COVID time. There
Hmm.
is not even yes, it is being in your home. Sometimes you feel like a little bit isolated, but it
Yeah.
has never depressed me.
Right.
In fact, it has opened
Yeah.
up an opportunity for me to
Yeah.
connect with everybody. Nurture
Absolutely.
my relationship where I may not have given the attention,
Too before.
doing certain things which were already in my to-do list, but I never could do it because of the
Hmm.
time. So this is great opportunity
Yeah.
for all of
Yeah.
us to explore, to be with us without even being sick. Just see
Right.
how beautiful it is that you
Yeah.
can talk to yourself, you can be with yourself
Yes.
without being sick, without
Yes.
being having a relationship problem or having stress or strain in your
Yes.
life.
And that is what that's one of the biggest things I think that I learned throughout this, is that, yeah, I don't need an excuse like cancer, to yeah, get to know myself or do that digging. And that was perhaps the original push or the impetus, but now that's available to me anytime. And I, yeah, no longer need that as, yeah, like an excuse or whatever, right?
Rebecca,
Yeah.
I must say one thing because it just hit me, so I must share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially your viewership is people who have fought through
Yes.
this disease. You need to understand, all of a sudden you become wise. Like you became sick, and then now in a 6 months time you are wise, right? It's an unnatural way of being wise.
Right.
And then over 2 or 3 years, once you settle down, your chemicals are being, if you do not give emphasis onto the same lifestyle, you will not be awakened, like you will not be having the similar experiences.
Yes.
So my request to all the survivors and warriors who have fought there and have, come out of it, my request to you, please, 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 rather than going for now, whatever doctor has prescribed for sure, but add on a little bit of mindfulness and meditation in your life, even for 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
I assure you, you do not have to focus on anything except for your own breath.
Yes.
You don't need a isolation. You don't need any, extraordinary stuff, or like, it's very simple. You
Yes.
just sit, relax, no yogic postures, or even if you sit on, sofa or a
Yeah.
couch, it is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
You just have to talk to yourself.
Yes.
Nothing but
Absolutely.
talk to yourself, and
Yes.
you'll be fine. So keep doing this, because if you stop doing it, that flow basically stop, because now
Stops.
you're not meeting yourself, you're again to
That's
the
right.
same lifestyle as you were,
That's right.
and now you're not connecting, you're not getting the same wisdom.
That's
So
right.
to have that continuous flow of wisdom, you please keep yourself intact with some
Yeah.
mindfulness, some little bit of yoga. Can do it through a certified person if you want to be more safe.
Yeah.
But involve yourself.
Yes.
Involve yourself. This life is very beautiful,
It
and
is.
until we accomplish what we have to, we should be healthy.
Yes.
We should be
We
healthy
should be.
until we
Absolutely.
accomplish. Once we feel, because there is nobody running around. I'm running on my own track. You are running on your own
Yeah.
track. There is nobody, no competition, and we do not know where that uh, where that place is, where our chest will just stop us and say like, no, your race is over. But
Yes.
that ribbon, we do not know where that ribbon is, and there is
That's
nobody
right.
in the. We just have one chest number and we are running.
That's it.
But until we reach where we claim that, okay, we have done what we were supposed to,
Yes.
and I'm liberated from my debt,
Yeah.
we should be healthy.
Healthy.
Stay
That's
healthy.
right. Stay healthy. Yeah, and it's so funny because when I can always tell when I need, like, if I miss a few days of meditating, if I have a really busy week or something like that, it just slips my mind. There's always, it doesn't take very long for this little voice to be like, you need to get back to that. Because I feel that like cutoff happening. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Rebecca, a day will come when you will not need any company.
Yeah.
I assure you, you will start enjoying life with yourself.
Yes.
And that will be the true blessing.
I love that.
That'll be
Yeah.
true blessing. One, not by force, but by choice. I had a lot of friends. I mean, people who are watching will be knowing, like, I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But when I found the true purpose and meaning of life, my life became aimless for them, because I was not
Right.
talking like them.
Right.
My values changed, my own decision changed. What I enjoyed throughout the life, like any normal person, I started hating myself for doing those things. And there was
Yes.
nobody who was telling me to, make change.
Right.
It was my self decision, my own choice. And every day to stay disciplined for so many years, it is very hard, I can tell you. It's not easy.
Yes, absolutely. So we were mentioning a few things, mindfulness and meditation, and cancer patients experience a lot of stress and anxiety and like that we've been talking about. Do you have some tips, like mindfulness, that can help to manage the stress and those negative emotions?
I tell you, I'm again repeating. Start with focusing on breath.
Right.
I'm giving emphasis because this is the beginning. Because once you understand the power of your breath, let me share a secret of breathing. In a natural way, when we are in the mother's womb, from that time, we breathe only through one nostril at a time.
Oh, yes.
90 minutes, we breathe through left nostril, and then in a natural way, it changes to the right side or left side first, and then it keep on toggling. This natural flow of alternate breathing maintains our heart, like the blood pressure, our lot of things like our chemical balance, our our day-to-day routines. It actually manages the internal organs.
Yes.
This flow. But with stress, anxiety, depression, this natural flow changes, and we start breathing through only one nostril, or in a, you know, what do you call, um, like not in the fixed intervals, which basically
Right.
creates the problem in our body.
Right.
So by doing alternate breathing, even for few minutes, you are basically forcing your body to know about that. So if
Mm-hmm.
you start doing it, the horizon will open up. What you know today is just the tip of the iceberg. This is your conscious. The unconscious mind is right below.
Yes.
But you cannot deep dive in until you have enough breath to go inside. You need breath. So breath
Yes.
is the essential part for any of your things while you are on the path of spirituality, or even learning any damn thing. Like until you start, until okay, if you are a boxer and or a swimmer, until you know how to swim in the water while you are swimming, or until you know when somebody is blowing you on the face and you could still breathe in the
Right.
ring, that's where you become aware about it. Same
Mm.
way is with the meditation.
Yes.
When you can breathe while you are focusing on something, the difference between thinking and meditation is thinking is involuntary. Anytime I can think while you are talking to me, maybe you're thinking something else also, parallelly, simultaneously. You are,
Mm.
we
Yes.
all are. But then idea is, until our mind is in too many places, we cannot have the solution to that one problem.
Right.
And the
Right.
easy way is that even if your mind, somebody, sometimes people say, I try to do my meditation, but I'm not keeping my focus,
Right.
my thought. Let
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts flow anywhere. You just focus on your breath and automatically your thought will come to the breath.
Come to
That's
it.
the trick. That's the
Yeah.
secret. That even if your thoughts are running away, let them.
Let it
You are the
go.
controller. This body and mind I have as a spirit, not they are controlling me. Let
Yes.
them pass, let them show their tantrums, and then I will hold. So that's how I have to act or react in a situation like
Yes.
this. So my request, learn breathing, learn yourself, and breath is the first thing.
First thing.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, how do we do alternate breathing?
So it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
You could go on any of the videos which just talk about pranayam, but I'll tell you simple. Um, you just have to consciously breathe at one time through one nostril. So let's say I have to breathe through this. Even like when you go through the yogic school, they will tell
Yes.
you how to put
Yeah.
your
Hold
thumb
it.
here, breathe. Like you can do it without even doing that if you are
Wow.
consciously know it, like how you're doing it. So I breathe it from one nostril and hold it, and then I breathe out from the other nostril.
Mm-hmm.
So breathe through one nostril,
Yeah.
hold it, breathe out through the other
Other
nostril.
one.
Then breathe in from
Same
this
side.
nostril and breathe out from that nostril. If you cannot
Yes.
do it without using your fingers, so then block it and make you physically, not capable to breathe through the other nostril.
Right.
That's it.
Then that's it.
So physical or mental, but I can do it without using my fingers over the years. Like,
Yeah.
so it's
That's
okay.
incredible.
But if you want to do the conventional way, so please go through any YouTube video. It is not very difficult thing to
Difficult.
learn. The
Yeah.
most important is to know the secret why you are doing it, because you are pulling your
Energy in.
energy which is lying right on your buttocks to a
Right.
level that it start understanding and believing that life is like it is not in my hand, and
Right.
that will make you fearless every day, every, not just the cancer patient but anybody. Once you start believing that it is not in my hand, it is not.
Yes.
And you may have experienced while you were going through this fight,
Mm-hmm.
many a
Mm-hmm.
times you might have found that this probably is the end, or
Yeah.
this, it is good to go rather than no, I cannot take this pain.
Right.
But then here you are right in front of me as an angel. That is the proof that everything is inside.
That's
We
right.
have the energy. It is just a matter of being tapping into that,
Tapping into
and
it.
then and explore it. Explore this
Wonderful.
life.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, we are out of time. We have filled it quite quickly. I just want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise. It's given me a lot to think about and a lot to reflect on, and it's been really wonderful. So thank you. If anybody wants to find out more about you and more about Enlightenment, the video series, how can they do that?
You see, Rebecca, whatever I'm creating, I'm doing it on my own. And through your program, I want to make people aware that I just need a little bit of your help. I do not need financial help. I just need that at least you watch YouTube. There is, just enroll yourself so that you continuously get this knowledge in simple words.
Mhm.
My aim is I'm maybe doing it, for my daughter.
Right.
But ultimately, this knowledge is for everyone.
Everyone. That's right. That's right.
That's how I started, actually, to be honest. Now the horizon probably is different, but that's how it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
I knew
Evolves.
it is very difficult to reach somebody. It is very difficult to listen to somebody. So
Hmm.
let me start with my daughter.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So yes, I've lost my place. I'm sorry. The URL was there at the bottom if anybody wants to. Let me see if I can put it up again. Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay,
Go
so
on
there's the
YouTube,
yeah.
just subscribe to the channel and get the uninterrupted information which I want that you should go, because
Yes.
there will be a day. I strongly believe that there is a judgment day. There is a Vishnu Panchayat when everybody will be standing, and I don't want to stand on that day. Somebody complaining, when you knew it, why didn't you tell us?
Hell.
So I'm telling you right now. This is what I'm telling you. You do not blame me on that day that I did not tell you,
Right.
and that much I'm confident that I'm providing you that knowledge which will help you. It will
Yes.
sure help you.
Yes, wonderful. So if anybody is interested in watching Enlightenment, and please do watch it. It's not doesn't take a whole lot of time. They're short clips,
Four,
and
5 minutes.
yeah,
Four,
yeah, and they're really fascinating. So the URL's at the bottom there, or you can even just search on YouTube Enlightenment Deepak Manchanda, and you'll find it. And if anybody would like to learn more about me and Arenda Cancer Community, you can visit our website at arendablog.ca, or you can just search in Facebook for Arenda Cancer Community FB group, and you will find us. And the Empowered series is, of course, brought to you by Cancer Warrior Canada Foundation, which is an organization that raises awareness and funds about cancer and cancer research and early detection and all of those important things. And right now, they're also offering help to anybody who needs it during this, particularly difficult time. So if you know anyone, or if you yourself needs any help with things like groceries and hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, that kind of stuff, you can call the number that's going across the bottom of the screen right now, and we'll get you some help. Or you can also contact Cancer Warrior Canada through their Facebook pages or YouTube channel or Instagram pages as well. So thank you, Deepak, once more for being here. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and keep an eye out because we have another couple of episodes for you next week.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have a good
night.
night.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
you.